Good evening to all of you. Honorable Lohan Ratwat, State Minister for Plantations, and Mr. Niraj Dimel, Chairman of Tea Board, and also Chairman of the Sri Lanka Tea Factory Owners Association, Mr. Lionel Herat, and all the invited distinguished guests and my dear friends. At the outset, let me thank the Chairman and the Organizing Committee of the Annual General Meeting of the Sri Lankan Tea Factory Owners Association, having invited us to participate in your annual event again. It's indeed a great pleasure, and I consider it an honor, even though the times are very much turbulent. I was intently listening to the speech made by your chairman, and I was trying to compare 2 years ago how I was listening to the speech made by your former chairman, Mr. Chandima Wickramasinghe. There wasn't that much of a difference, except the fact that you were highlighting more on the fertilizer fiasco. It was more or less the same set of complaints, more or less the same set of the answers that we had to provide over and over again. But let me remind you that the organization, even though it's 32 years old, you're an integral part of the manufacturing and trading process of this vital industry, something very important for the Sri Lankan economy. And it had played a pivotal role in the Sri Lankan social economic sector over a long period of time. Even though your organization is 32 years old, the tea Ceylon tea factory owners and also the factory, the workers, they have played a very significant role in the tea manufacturing and the export process. So this is even though it's 150 years old since the famous gentleman, since he started this commercial tea plantations in Lul Kandura, James Taylor, things have become much tougher now, much challenging now. Let me tell you something that I really appreciate as a Minister of Plantation, your role that you played during last 2 years when the whole world was enveloped in COVID pandemic. So during that period of time, Sri Lankan tea factory owners and Sri Lankan tea traders, you managed your exports well, you continued your production. As a result of that, that effect trickled down to the growers. Nearly 2 million people of this country did not suffer as in most of the other industries. So thank you very much. You have done something great for the Sri Lankan tea industry and also Sri Lankan economy during that turbulent time. So last 2 years, we had a terrible time. I, as the plantation minister, was encountering so many issues because of the fertilizer fiasco, the erroneous policy decision that we made without consulting, as your chairman mentioned, the stakeholders and so the professionals of this country. But we are gradually coming out of that. Fertilizer would be available, even though it's coming at a higher cost than what it used to be. And also, glyphosate ban was removed, so glyphosate will also be available. So I hope that subject won't be taken for discussion during the next AGM if I come here. So nobody knows about that, but that fertilizer matter, but we were discussing with His Excellency the President as well, that subsidy, we promised to provide fertilizer at no cost to the growers, which was provided at 1,500 per kg at that time, per 50 kg bag at that time, but it wouldn't be so in time to come. But fortunately, global prices of fertilizer is gradually coming down. We keep our fingers crossed that prices would further come down in time to come. And we have allowed private sector importers also, apart from the known major players, Mr. Blaster, so other players also to come and import fertilizer at a much competitive cost. So it's gradually coming down, even though it's little higher than what it used to be earlier. So during turbulent times, you continued your manufacturing process. None of the factories were kept closed. We took that policy decision at that time, we will never close down the factories. So none of the factories were closed down, even with difficulty. First, because of Corona, we encountered that health hazard, but we carried out an effective immunization campaign. We rolled out with the support of the health authorities, we rolled out that effective immunization campaign. So Corona was controlled up to a great extent. So you managed your work. And also, none of the factories were kept closed down because of the fuel issue. So we prioritized that one. We made it ensured, we ensured that most of the factories, or if not all, got the fuel on priority basis. So even during that time, you never closed down your factories, something that we should appreciate. And during that time only, the much infamous outcry auction was replaced by the e-auction, which is something commendable. So CTTA played a pivotal role at that time. We recognize that as well. So the prices gradually went up during the last couple of months' time, and that effect was trickled down to the farmers. The growers were happy. I think factory owners were also happy, but again the prices have come down again because of the global recession. So we are facing much more challenges ahead. One thing is our production has come down, mainly because of the fertilizer fiasco, and they have highlighted several times over and over again. Our productivity has come down, our lands become older. So as against most of the other countries like Kenya, China and India, our soil quality has gone down a lot, so the productivity has also gone down. Amidst those difficult times, the industry has done reasonably well, and you have gone ahead, increasing the level of value additions, and also our products have gone to all the countries in the world. But unfortunately, most of the countries have encountered a lot of difficulties except Turkey, Russia, Ukraine, Libya, Syria, Iran, Iraq. All the importing countries have gone through civil unrest, which had been affecting pretty badly to our tea industry. But that was, despite those challenges that we face in the export economy, most of the exporters, with their personal contacts and also with the historical links that they had with the other importers, they managed to retain that one. But on futuristic basis, we must ensure that we add more value to our products, and also we should encourage our growers to grow more. In that regard, we have conducted the 1000 nursery program with the help of the Tea Board, which came to a very decent level. Now we conduct again with the support of the TSHD and the TRI. We are trying to improve the leaf quality. Last year we didn't push that much for, because of the backdrop of this fertilizer fiasco, we didn't push that much for the leaf quality, but it's a mandatory requirement that we go ahead and ensure that we produce better quality tea, because we can't compete with the quantity in relation to Kenya, India, China, and the major countries that produce more tea than that we produce. So quality is something very important. Let us work together to ensure that we produce better quality tea. We add value to our tea, and also we explore more export markets. We were concentrating in turbulent regions, possibly with the help of the Tea Board. I've spoken specifically that matter to the chairman of the Tea Board. Let us concentrate more on other European countries and also Americas and non-explored markets to ensure that we capture more markets in time to come. So for that, whatever the assistance that you require from the Plantation Ministry and also all the other organizations under its umbrella, we are fully committed to provide whatever the assistance that you require. Even though it's turbulent times, we hope that together we can do much better. Let us work together to ensure that Sri Lankan tea, much famous Ceylon tea, remains at a higher level in the world market. So thank you very much. Having invited to us, and all the best to you, and have a pleasant evening.